Hello everyone, my name is Ryan or MandRproductions and welcome to a very highly requested review here on the channel. This is the original Cloud City set released in 2003. I picked this one up for $528, yes that includes shipping, on eBay. However, when this set was released in 2003, you could buy it at LEGO stores for a measly $100. That's pretty cheap compared to what you can get it for today, because if you want it brand new today, you're going to be paying over $1,000. That's 10 times its original value. This set includes 698 pieces, and it includes the 7 minifigures in front of you: Darth Vader, a Stormtrooper, Han Solo, Cloud City Luke Skywalker, Cloud City Princess Leia, Lando Calrissian, and of course the coveted Cloud City Boba Fett, who is worth over $200 on his own. It also includes the Han Solo in Carbonite brick. 698 pieces for $100 isn't quite a stellar deal on the price per piece end, but when you consider how many of the pieces in this set are very large bricks, I think it's definitely worth it from that point of view. This set is too big to fit into my regular reviewing area, so I did have to pull it out, and we'll be doing different types of B-roll shots, so let me know with a like on the video if you enjoy the different way in which I've done this review. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on with it. Let's take a close look at all of these really awesome minifigures. Here's our Cloud City style Han Solo, who I think we see in other sets, so he's not really an expensive or rare minifigure, but he's decent looking for the time. He's got a really nice vest on there. You can see the black vest kind of contrasts on the tannish, whitish torso there, or rather the undershirt, not the torso, but there you go. He's got tan arms, regular kind of smiley face and brown hair. He's got a blue-tipped blaster there, so that's the Han Solo figure, nothing special. Han Solo in Carbonite looks just like Han Solo and Carbonite that we had seen for quite a while until they redesigned this thing a while back in like 2010, I think. But it's a decent looking figure, if you will, or a statue, or I don't know what you want to call it. It's a brick with a print on it, really. It's not a minifigure. So that's Han Solo and Carbonite. It actually does a decent job of recreating what he looks like for something that was created 20 years ago. So I do like it. Here we have the beautiful Cloud City Leia. This is an exclusive to the set. This is the only set that we ever saw this particular minifigure in. She has a very sleek looking hairpiece. There is no back printing underneath there. This is a time when back printing was very seldomly put onto minifigures, except for like Stormtroopers pretty much. So that was the Princess Leia minifigure, just a single face there. Pretty simple face design, not too complex there, but the torso is actually a decent print, and I like the overall design of her clothing. Here we have the Cloud City Luke Skywalker, exclusive to this set, especially that very cool shiny lightsaber hilt that they used to use. I used to love those things. Unfortunately, they don't do them quite as shiny anymore. For good reason, though. They would chip off and they would look terrible after a while, so LEGO has their reason for not making the chrome anymore. But it does look like a decent Luke Skywalker. I love the tan color scheme of him. The one thing that kind of throws me off is his hair color being the same as his, like, torso and legs and arms and everything. It just looks so weird to me that it's all the same instead of the hair color being slightly different or something. But other than that, it's a fantastic minifigure exclusive to this set that you can't go wrong with. Another exclusive minifigure to this set, and that's a big theme with this set, is exclusive minifigures, is Lando Calrissian here. He's got a blue-tip blaster, much like we saw with Han Solo. You'll also find he has a beautiful torso print that has a very nice kind of pattern for his shirt there. He's also got an awesome cape. It's a one-of-a-kind cape that only ever came in this set. On one side, it's baby blue, and on the other side, it's kind of this goldish color. In the new Cloud City set, we see kind of the same idea, but it's got some printing on the inside, and I can't wait to compare the two figures when I have them both in hand. The face for this Lando it leaves a lot to be desired. Let's just leave it there. It just leaves a lot to be desired. And then he's got regular black hair. But yeah, that's Lando's face. Next up we have a Stormtrooper. A simple Stormtrooper. Underneath you'll find a yellow head. Nothing to see here. Move along. This set wouldn't be complete without Darth Vader. And Darth Vader we have indeed, with his red lightsaber with the chrome hilt, ready to take on Luke Skywalker. So that's pretty neat. It's a very simple Darth Vader figure. We've gotten this in other sets around the time, so we don't have anything exclusive really about this figure, but it's just a nice figure to have included, and who doesn't like Darth Vader? I think this might be the first time that this minifigure has been recorded in 4K on the internet. I'm not 100% sure, but Cloud City Boba Fett is pretty hard to come by, and people don't often review this LEGO Star Wars set, especially with the recent addition of 4K cameras to iPhones and such, so a 4K review of this set is something pretty spectacular. I didn't really mention that at the beginning, but it's something really hard to come by, I'd say. But this Boba Fett minifigure is incredible. This is one of the most coveted, most well-known, most expensive LEGO Star Wars minifigures ever made. This thing is one of a kind. It only ever came in this set. And even though new Boba Fett's have come out since, this one still holds its value. I mean, this thing is just an incredible Boba Fett. For some reason, people are so in love with it. I'm in love with it too. I can't say I'm not. It's got some awesome leg and waist printing. It's got some really dope arm printing. That's probably the best part of it, is he's got all the little details on his arms and shoulder pads there. So it's probably the best part about this figure for a lot of people. The helmet is actually the same helmet and jetpack piece that they use on the figure for a few years after this, but the special part again is the arm printing and the leg printing. That's what really makes this figure worth over $200, which is pretty crazy to think. But that's the Boba Fett minifigure. Just give you one more spin around on this figure. I think it's worth it here just to do it justice. A really, really awesome figure. And just to show you, there's no back printing underneath, just to be sure if I didn't. And you'll see the other arm there. So that's Boba Fett. Let's go ahead and hop back over to the table. Take a look at Cloud City play features. This is the Carbonite room, if you will, the Carbonite chamber. This is where you're going to send Han Solo down into the depths, and he's going to come back up as someone frozen basically to death, but he's not dead because he's alive. Essentially, they want to preserve him, and it's a really cool little room. I really like this section of the set. It's got these really neat trans orange pieces here to create the scene, basically to give the theming, the coloring of this scene. They also use trans orange 1x4 bricks, which is something you don't see often in LEGO, I'd say. On top of the platform here, they have trans red grill pieces to create a bit of a lighting scheme on the floor, and then you have a little control panel up here for your Stormtrooper to operate. Unfortunately, back in the day, they did not have an Ugnaught minifigure. They use this really cool brick in there, which is like a 2x2x6 brick. Like it's 6 bricks tall, and it's 2x2 at the base. So it's a really, really neat brick, and basically it allows the piece to slide around it. I don't know how to explain it other than that, but there's a piece that slides around it, and I'm giving you a better view of it now, and you can see how that mechanism works, where it can slide up and down, and that basically is used as an elevator to raise and lower Han Solo. So you have a pair of these little platform thingies here, and basically you put Han Solo and Carbonite on one of them, slide him into one side, and then you can grab Han Solo and you can throw him in on the top here. Basically we'll slide this in there, it'll move into place centered on the piece there. So with it centered up, basically lining it up with the two 1x4 tiles there, you're going to go ahead and bring it up by spinning the lever up here, or the little knob here I should say, and you're going to spin it to the left so that it will raise up. By pulling these chains up, it comes all the way to the top. And so once it's at the top like so, you can actually grab Han Solo. You're going to need to put a hand underneath like this to hold it up so you can get a good grip on it. Basically, you can drop Han Solo on there, and there you have Han Solo ready to go into the depths. You can even bring Leia up there to say I love you, and then Han says I know, and you can really recreate some of the cooler scenes from this movie, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. So you hold the knob up if you want him to stay all the way up. Unfortunately, it won't really stay. I guess it will stay sometimes. Sometimes it won't stay, it'll sink a little bit. But basically, you're going to drop Han Solo back on down into the chamber, and we're going to move him out of the way. So we're going to push him to the right. And then we're going to bring in the Han Solo and Carbonite brick, and then we're going to pull that one right on back up. So that is how the mechanism works. I think it works really, really well, especially for 2003. Like, LEGO really outdid themselves for the time there, and I think they did a great job creating something that works really, really well and reliably. And it's a fun play feature. Just fundamentally, it is fun. It works well. You can really recreate the scene as many times as you want. So you can definitely have a ton of fun with that one. It seems like it gets caught sometimes there too. But other than that, I have no issues with this particular room on the set at all. Makes for a great, fun additional play feature for the set, and I really like it. This is the dining room from Cloud City, and you can see it has 4 seats. Unfortunately, we're missing the seat at the head of the table, and actually it's supposed to have 2 more seats continuing onto the table. So the table's a bit small. It has 2 of these clear cups here, so not too much going on as far as decoration on the table. There's a little plant here in the back. Decent looking. Those pieces are actually kind of rare, those brown grass stalk pieces, so that's nice. But other than that, not too much going on in the dining room. It does have this door feature, which we'll get to in a second, but essentially Darth Vader is supposed to be sitting probably here at the head of the table with Boba Fett at his side, and then you're also supposed to have Han Solo, Leia, Lando, and then Chewbacca walk in the door. Unfortunately, Chewbacca isn't included in the set actually, so you basically just have Han Solo, Lando, and Leia to throw in there, but you can kind of recreate the scene again. Unfortunately, you don't have the chair at the head of the table, but you can have Darth Vader stand there, and it does a decent job of recreating the scene. But to even recreate the scene better, there's actually a door, and the door doesn't really lead to where it would lead in the movie or really like work the same way because they actually come in from a hallway, but the door actually leads out to the landing pad if you hadn't figured that out. The way to open it is to twist this thing here to the left. It actually looks decent for being this like giant, otherwise would be like an obstruction of a pole here. It actually looks good and kind of fits into the dining room somehow. It's basically, the whole reason it's here is to be a mechanism to open the door, which is kind of cool. Like on a modern day Lego set, I don't think you would see something like this. I think they would either leave it open or they would have you just pull it open. But this one, they actually put a string on there and you can twist it and it will open that far. That's as far as it opens. Unfortunately, there's something on the other side blocking it. I'll show that to you. And that's basically the reason it doesn't go any farther. But you can barely get a minifigure in there. It's barely tall enough for a minifigure with the hairpiece to fit through, but it does work, so don't worry about that. It's not a 2016 UCS Hoth Wampa Cave repeat, thank God. You will have trouble, however, fitting a character like Darth Vader because his helmet is a little bit taller, the cape gets in the way, but they do work. You just can't really fit them through very easily. It's not a very wide margin for error there, unfortunately, so I wish it did go up a little bit higher. That's one of the few flaws I see with this set, but if you twist it back to the right, you'll be able to push this thing back down, and then you can tighten it up and get it right on even with the ground there. So pretty neat little feature with the door in the dining room, pretty simple design. Unfortunately, you're missing the Chewbacca minifigure here to really recreate the full scene, but other than that, it's pretty cool. And of course, the chair is missing at the head of the table. That would really finish off this scene, in my opinion. But that is the dining room. Let's move on and see Darth Vader and Luke duke it out. Lego absolutely could not leave one of the most iconic scenes from Star Wars Episode 5 out of this set, and it makes sense that it's in the set. It's a great scene to have included. It's the dueling room where Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker duke it out to see who's the better Jedi or Sith, I guess. But there are a couple of cool mechanisms in this particular room that I really like. You, of course, can make the wall fall down here. So basically, all you have to do is push up on that piece there, and it's going to fall down. So you just push up on that, and it falls down. It does stop right there, which is nice. So it's not actually going to knock into your minifigures a lot of the time. To close it back up, you just pull it back up and push that back down into place. It's actually barely hanging on for dear life there, so you can actually just pull it out if you want to. So it will come off sometimes on accident, but usually you can keep it on there very easily. Very nice little falling wall bit in there to kind of add playability to the scene that otherwise wouldn't have been there. They could have just done a blank canvas for a wall there, and I really like that they added something extra into it. Now you have this basically stepping stairs kind of area where Luke and Darth Vader can fight in this room, and then you can actually have them transition into another room, which is pretty neat. So you just saw me push down on this lever here, and it threw the window out, which is basically what happens in Star Wars Episode 5, where Luke kind of ends up on the balcony there. And so we'll throw Luke on here, and we will try to move his lightsaber out of the way. The lightsaber might get in the way, so we'll just knock it off there. And we're going to put Luke onto this, and he can get thrown into the other room like that. So now he's in the balcony area, or not the other room, but now you basically end up in here. So the only problem with this is that knocking it out, obviously it like blocks the entrance, so like it's not very realistic because Darth Vader couldn't get out there obviously, but it's pretty neat that you're able to knock the figures into the other room. That's actually a pretty cool feature as well that I'm sure tons of kids, I mean, I guess not tons because this set is pretty rare, but a few kids probably enjoyed a bit. But I do like that feature. I think it's a really neat feature to have in this set. So here you can see it happen from outside on the balcony. You can see it just kind of flips out like that. And just for the fun of it, we'll throw Darth Vader in here and we'll have him get thrown into the other room. So now we have Darth Vader out ready to tell Luke that he is indeed his father. Let's take a look at the balcony. So here's the balcony where it all goes down. We have Darth Vader there with his cape. Now, the railings do kind of get in the way of the cape because the cape is pretty wide, so just keep that in mind if you're trying to play around with this. You're kind of going to want to keep Darth Vader here on the close end to the main part of the set, or you're going to want to bring him out into the wider area on the set down here. Either way, you're just fine, so he does fit in there. So you have Luke Skywalker. Basically, you can run him out as far out as possible. He can hold on to this little bit here just barely, and then you can have him get his hand cut off if you want to. That is a little gruesome for this show, so we won't be showing Luke with his hand cut off, but you can take his Lego hand off if you want to. So there's Darth Vader about to spill the beans to Luke Skywalker that Darth Vader is Luke's father. So that's what the balcony scene can look like. You can really play it out very well. Like, it actually is a very nice long balcony addition to the set. It's a very nice little section of the set that Lego was able to add on there to the dueling room. So there is the balcony scene. You can't do too much with it. There's not really a lot of playability with it other than actually like having Luke hang on for life. You can have him drop off the edge if you want. Luke, I am your father. I mean, I am your father, not Luke, I am your father, because that's the wrong way to say it. That's an incorrect quote. No, it can't be true. Search your feelings, you know it to be true, or something like that. No! So that's how you can recreate that scene with the LEGO 101-23 Cloud City set. So this is what the back end of Cloud City looks like, looking on from the landing pad there. You can see it basically has a very symmetrical design on the back end here. Actually, it's kind of cool to look at because, you know, the other side is kind of a hodgepodge of different scenes. So you kind of get a nice symmetrical looking exterior to the Cloud City, and it's just kind of very nicely finished off here. It just uses some slopes and some tan bricks in there to give it a nice different offset color there. So I really like that. Again, here's the door that opens and closes, so that's just kind of what you're looking at there. So you have this walkway that leads out to the platform here, and then looking down onto the platform, you have this very, very large platform. And just for comparison's sake, here's an iPad mini, so it's a very, very large platform. In fact, it's bigger than the platform on the new Cloud City. So we will be comparing those two Cloud Cities when I have them both. So that'll be a video on the channel in the future. But you were able to fit some things onto this platform that were available at the time. I'll throw a picture up on the screen right now. But you could fit sets like the Millennium Falcon, the Slave One, and the Bespin Cloud Car from the time. Unfortunately, when this set was out in 2003, the only Slave One available on shelves was Jango Fett's Slave One. And you betcha, it fits on there. It actually fits really nicely. It takes up most of the landing platform, but just to give you an idea of how big this landing platform is, Jango Fett's Slave One is not really a small Slave One, so I really like that it's able to even fit one of the newer sets, and it obviously is going to fit the even newer Slave Ones, but that's really awesome. It's not going to fit the UCS one. The UCS one is going to be a tad bit too big up there. That one, I don't think that one's going to fit on the landing platform, but the rest of them will fit just fine, seeing as this one fits on there. So that's pretty neat. That's the landing platform, though. It's very simple. It's made out of these very, very large bricks. You just get an idea there, and it's got kind of a square pattern on there going on just to kind of give it some type of life to the landing platform. You also do continue the theme with these green studs here as kind of lighting on the sides of the platform, so that kind of leads into the walkway into the dining room of Cloud City. It'll even fit the original Slave One from the year 2000. No problem. And because I think it's cool and somewhat important to show off, this is what the underside of the Cloud City looks like. You can see that's the landing platform, and then we have the 3 rooms there, and then we have the balcony where Luke and Darth Vader are fighting. So you can see they use just kind of bricks and plates there to build up the bottom side to have it stand a little bit off the ground, which I do like. That protects against flooding, so you don't have to worry about flooding on Cloud City because it is built up a little bit off the ground. Okay, I'm being facetious, but it's very nice that they're connecting it up on the bottom there so that it has a little bit of extra strength for the build quality there underneath to keep it all together when you're moving it around. The best way I've found to pick this setup is that I just kind of grab it with one hand right about here at the connection, and that's how I lift it up, basically with a couple of fingers there. So it's pretty easy to move around. You just have to be very careful. Just know where to grab it. Don't grab it in the wrong spot, 'cause if you grab it by this will just snap off, and you gotta fix it. So it's pretty simple to do, but let's go and get my final thoughts on the Cloud City set. This is easily one of the most sought after and rarest LEGO Star Wars sets ever created. It has some of the coolest and most expensive LEGO Star Wars minifigures ever created. It also has some really awesome features integrated into the set. 698 pieces for $100 back in 2003 would have been pretty pricey, but I think it was worth it. I bet these things didn't sell too well though, seeing as LEGO wasn't doing so well back in the early 2000s, but hey, looks like it's a pretty expensive playset now for over $1,000 brand new on eBay. Again, I got lucky and got mine for $528, so hopefully that price stays high and I don't lose money if I ever decide I want to get rid of this thing. Anyway, guys, this is an incredible set that if you ever have the chance to own for any reasonable price, you would be insane to pass on. I wouldn't really particularly recommend going out and buying it for over $500, seeing as it's very hard to get that much playability out of a set that was $100 originally. But if you're huge into LEGO Star Wars like me and you really like collecting the sets and you've been into it for a long time, then this is something you could actually feel good about spending a lot of money on. This definitely is one of the coolest things in my collection now, and I am looking forward to keeping it forever. I just have no plans to ever get rid of anything like this. Even the Boba Fett minifigure himself is worth over $200, and that's something I just never want to part with. It's something I want to keep forever and I'll cherish for a long time. So this is one of the coolest LEGO Star Wars sets. It's one of the most well-known older LEGO Star Wars sets, I would say. It's what many people consider to be a white whale or a holy grail of your collection. So it's one that I'm very proud to own, and one that I'm very hopeful I'll find a good way to display it at some point, because right now I definitely do not have the space to display it the proper way. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the review, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And let me know if you like this new format of reviews in the comment section down below, or just by simply liking the video. It definitely shows that you enjoyed the format if you enjoyed the video anyways. So check out my links in the description below. Once available, I'll have my comparison of this set and the newer Cloud City set, as well as my review to the new Cloud City set down below in the links, so you guys can check those out. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.